So we want to know actually who you are and how long you've been in Delhi and what is your background. We can start from actually, we can start from anywhere you like. And then,
first and foremost, thank you, Bhai, for coming to Sidecar and also having me in your podcast program. My name is Yangdup Lama, and I am originally from Darjeeling. And I have been living here in Delhi since 26 years now.
26 years.
And my span in terms of bartending has also been over 26 years. So that's where it all happened. As in, it started way back in 1995. I came as a small town boy into Delhi, hotel management graduate. I joined a hotel not to intentionally become a bartender, but to become a hotelier. Interestingly, I was sent to the bar. So that's where my journey of bartending took off. So no formal course. It was purely been straight away on the job at the hotel bar. And that's where I learned the basics of bartending.
Just going back to the, so you always wanted to be person to be behind the F&B, or what was your dream? I'm sure the lifestyle in Darjeeling that we just came back from the Kursaong was very different than any other city, right? So when your childhood, you always wanted to be like in the food and beverage industry, or like you had something else you wanted to be?
No, so if you ask me from that point of view, as a child, I went to a boarding school in Darjeeling, but I didn't have a clear ambition. So I was a very average, mediocre student. Not very good academically. But all that I knew was that I would excel in things which required a lot of physical activity. So I was good in sports.
Yes.
And I always wanted to figure out what could I do in terms of my career choice. And then when I was in my 11th or 12th is when I figured out that the only option for me was to do hotel management, because it didn't have any of the subjects that I didn't like to study. So it didn't have history, geography, no science, no maths, no chemistry, none of those. And that's how I actually joined hotel management, not with the idea of becoming a food and beverage professional, but with the idea of doing something that does not involve a lot of studies, right? So that's how.
That's a shortcut. I was like, okay, I don't want to do something.
So it's a very hillboy kind of a thought concept, because happy-go-lucky life. Like I said, we had the best time in our boarding school. Always played, never studied. So as I kind of grew up, when I did my 10th and when I started to look at other batchmates of mine who were people, some of them were preparing for engineering, some of them were preparing for medicals, and I was this one guy who was not so sound academically, and that's when I had to figure out something, and that's how I discovered hotel management. So I did my hotel management from Calcutta, and then came to Delhi to work. So no purpose, thought process as far as food and beverage is concerned. So that's why sometimes when people ask me, how did you become a bartender? I always say I'm an accidental bartender.
Accidental bartender.
I'm not a bartender by intention. So I didn't intentionally want to become a bartender. The good thing is, I think it's a accidental discovery, but a good accidental discovery that kind of led me to enjoy the last 26 years behind the stick.
That's a lot of time actually. If you mention like it's accidental discovery, but you're really enjoying it. I see that. I've been to both of your place. For me, and I think for most of us also, when we join F&B, it's kind of getting away from the hard study, right? As you just talk about. So for me also, when I came to bartending, also it was like, but I wanted to be a chef. That was the one thing. So from the day one, I wanted to be a chef. So that was
nice.
the thing that's how I asked people. So when they often be like, oh, do you want to be with? I recently talked to one of the guy in Darjeeling. The parents forced him to be engineer, and they study engineer, but eventually he becomes something else.
No, but it was also somewhat similar. When I joined hotel management, during the course, I was good in the kitchen. So I was good in cooking because I was anyways cooking. Even when I was a child, I used to love cooking. So cooking was something that was already there within me. And even during my industrial training, I did realize that I could join the kitchen But to me, kitchen was a lot of hard work in the initial years as a youngster, right?
Yeah,
and that's how I chose to be F&B, because in F&B, you could be a little naughty. You could still see the good of both worlds. So you could be in the front of the house as well as back of the house.